This is Andy DeBillis for NETV in Brussels. With me is Antonella Valmorbida from Italy, who is the director of the Association of Local Democracy Agencies. Ms. Valmorbida, we were just in a pretty interesting discussion about the role of local authorities in Belarus. Is it compatible to even talk about that until there's democracy in that country?
There are institutions in place, but it is very difficult to work in Belarus at the moment. Our activities are dedicated to support civil society groups, and the local authorities we managed to involve were always involved on a personal level. So they could not attend our events, our training activities, representing their own local authorities. There is democracy in Belarus. There is a different level of democracy, like in many other countries. There are different levels of democracy, and democracy, as far as ALDA is concerned, is understood as a process and not really as something which is eventually achieved. It is very, very delicate to work there. There are limitations, visa regimes, limitations for the NGOs. They are strictly under control.
Well, so that's not going to change until there's a change of, as the Americans say, regime, isn't it?
Well, we don't know how long the regime will last. What we can tell is that there are seeds of changes with these local authorities that are somehow working with us and these NGOs. And the meeting of today that you mentioned is already the expression of a possible opportunity to have some freedom regarding these first basic democratic processes. So I would focus more on these changes that can bring in a certain period of time. I don't know how long.
Well,
I don't know how long it could last.
We're going to be closing in on the second decade pretty soon.
Yes. I mean, no. The pressure that the European Union is putting on this Eastern Partnership, the negotiation they are getting into, can make some changes. We have to be careful that the big interests do not accept to negotiate when human rights and civil society are still under...
You raise a good question. Belarus is an important transit country for energy to Europe from Russia. If it were an oil and gas producing country, would we even be having this discussion? Because it seems the European Union track record is if you have gas and oil, we don't care about human rights.
Yeah, I think it must be put on the balance, and we cannot accept as Association of Local Democracy Agencies, and I guess all the NGO sector, that this will be the case. I mean, we cannot accept that the doors of Europe, both European Union and Council of Europe, because Belarus has been suspended from Council of Europe membership, will be open again if there is no insurance that the basic freedoms and human rights are preserved.
Well, it's a difficult question, as you say, because pressure hasn't worked, sanctions haven't worked, olive branches haven't worked. What will? Is it groups like yours working with local authorities?
Yes, that will work. That will work, because democracy starts from them, inside. We have the experience from the Balkans. We have been working with Milosevic. We have been working with Tuđman in Croatia. We have been working with other regimes, and democracy starts from inside, not from outside. So the support to civil society groups is an important fundamental tool to produce a change.
Belarus says it's as much of a democracy as is Russia. Do they have a point?
Is Belarus the same level of democracy than Russia? Well, Russia is another story. Russia is a continent. Russia is getting, as far as democracy is concerned, my understanding that it's going backwards. As a matter of fact, I think that when we are talking about Russia, I think we are talking about St. Petersburg and Moscow, and nobody really knows what's going on after the rally. So it is... the lady in the room today explained the differences between Belarus and Russia, and I accept this. I mean, I think this is a different background. Of course, they live together, in brackets, for 50 years, but this is something different.
Well, the case being made that for Belarus, the best approach is to have democracy pushed up and not shoved down the throats of the leadership. I'm Andy DeBills with NETV in Brussels.